According to a source, here's the quote, Prince William plans to flex his muscles and wipe his wayward brother, Prince Harry, and his power-hungry wife, Meghan, from the history books, it says.
Meghan ruined Harry. Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
It started as a whisper and turned into a war. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are now facing their biggest threat yet. Not from a headline or a royal feud, but from Parliament itself. There's a real plan in motion to tear their royal titles away for good.
There are growing calls to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview which aired.
But it's hardly a secret that the palace has already conducted secret meetings with members of the government to discuss putting the plan into action.
This isn't gossip, it's law. And the quiet silence from the palace? That's not peace, it's a warning. Because behind the curtain, the crown isn't just watching, it's moving. And if what insiders are saying is true, this could be the end of the royal game for good. The spark was small, a petition tucked quietly into the halls of Westminster. But it exploded like dynamite. A movement to remove Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's royal titles caught fire, fast.
You just wait until Prince William is king. I think he's going to put his handsome foot down and he is going to rock Meghan Markle's world. Meghan Markle is going to be humbled very quickly.
According to a report in OK Magazine, Prince William plans on stripping both Harry and Meghan of their HRH titles once he becomes king.
It wasn't a tabloid stunt or online gossip. It was official. And the timing was brutal. Just hours before, Harry's awkward BBC interview had dropped. An interview where he begged for security funding in the UK even as he slammed the system that once protected him. The contradiction was too big to ignore. The petition didn't just gain support, it exploded. Tens of thousands signed within days. Some were angry about the interview, others about the hypocrisy. But one message was clear. They've disrespected the monarchy for too long. And here's where it gets real.
A new poll reveals that the declining arc of Harry's popularity has accelerated into a high-speed plummet.
The HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family because it denotes a level of I guess, respect in the public, and also it's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honor to have an HRH.
This wasn't just about opinion, it was about law. The House of Lords began discussing it seriously. Politicians started invoking century-old legislation. The Titles Deprivation Act of 1917 dusted off and reloaded. That act once stripped royal titles from traitors in World War I. Now, it's being reinterpreted for a very modern kind of betrayal.
And it's all about trust. They excluded Meghan Markle from the Sandringham Summit because they were afraid she would secretly record the meeting and release it to the media. There is no trust when it comes to Prince Harry.
Meghan and Harry aren't being accused of breaking the law, but of something just as damaging to tradition, destroying the dignity of the crown for profit. And now, that petition isn't just noise, it's turning into a political wrecking ball aimed straight at the Sussex brand. Right as this legal wildfire began, Meghan dropped a polished podcast episode meant to highlight her new image as an empowered businesswoman.
But this has been Meghan Markle's MO from the beginning. She wants all of the privileges that go along with an identity, but she doesn't want any of the responsibilities. She doesn't want to do any of the work. She wants the tiara. She doesn't want the public service.
But the internet zoomed in on one tiny, damning detail. The gift basket she sent the host included a tag reading, "With the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex." That sentence alone triggered outrage. That title, HRH, was supposed to be off limits. It had been part of the agreement made with Queen Elizabeth years ago. Meghan and Harry were not to use it in any commercial way, but here it was again, printed and public. It wasn't a slip, it was a message, a flex, and it landed like a slap to the face of the royal institution.
The royal family, especially William and Kate, didn't develop reservations about Meghan because of the way she bullied palace staff. She was simply the victim of royal racism. All of this is nonsense, of course.
Critics called it title trafficking. Royalists called it betrayal. Even neutral commentators agreed, if you've left the family, you don't get to keep the benefits. For many in Parliament, that gift tag became the final straw, because it wasn't just a formality, it was the tip of a massive branding iceberg.
There's a conversation with you,
with Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
From their Netflix deals to children's books, from charity merch to celebrity interviews, the Sussex name has become a business model, a modern empire built on a 1,000-year-old crown. And for the lawmakers now leading this charge, that's the entire problem. They see two people trying to profit off royal DNA without the responsibility. And if Meghan thought her podcast would be a smooth rebranding move, what it actually did was pour gasoline on a fire that was already out of control. While the Sussexes fought back in the press, one man stayed silent, and that silence spoke louder than any speech.
Meghan has always been a mad, keen player of the victim card. The nasty Brits who took against her because of the colour of her skin. The social media lynch mob who are so unconscionably cruel to her. The journalist haters who keep writing about what a bully she is. All the negative media coverage she gets has nothing to do with her.
Prince William didn't issue a statement. He didn't speak to reporters. He didn't leak rebuttals. But royal insiders say that behind the scenes, he gave a clear signal. Let it happen. No objections, no protection. Because for William, this isn't just about Harry the brother, it's about Harry the brand. The monarchy is built on symbols. And when those symbols are used for profit, without permission, it threatens everything. William has always played the long game. And now, sources say, he sees this as the moment to draw a line. While King Charles reportedly remains hesitant, unwilling to be seen punishing his son, William is done holding back. He wants the crown protected, not politicized. And he believes Harry's actions, his memoir, his media rants, his American speeches have pushed the family too far. William's support for the petition isn't loud, it's tactical. And in royal politics, silence is often the sharpest weapon.
It's the UK's right to then say and follow the rules that they have. You're not special. You don't get extra just because. And he constantly is living this life of demanding extra because he's Prince Harry. Bro, when you left the royal family, you became some random dude. Keep it honest. Who was Prince Harry?
I think the understanding is that when he becomes monarch, they will be formally stripped of the HRH.
And I'm sure Prince William has a lot of support for that from the public.
With William backing the movement quietly and Charles stepping aside, the real power is shifting. Parliament isn't just guessing. They know the heir to the throne isn't going to stop them. And with that kind of quiet nod, the petition doesn't just look possible, it looks inevitable. In the early days of Megxit, Harry and Meghan had sympathy. They were seen as rebels escaping a cold, outdated system. But public mood doesn't last forever. And now, that sympathy has dried up. New polling shows a brutal reality. 62% of Britons want Harry stripped of his title. Among older voters, it's over 70%. And the shocker? Even in Sussex, the county that gives Harry his dukedom, the support has evaporated. Locals are openly signing the petition, saying he doesn't represent them anymore. He represents Hollywood, not us, one elderly woman said in a clip that's now gone viral. That line hit hard, because it's true. Harry's turned his life into a Netflix pitch, a podcast diary, a memoir of grudges. And while some people admired his courage at first, now they're just exhausted. The nonstop interviews, the family exposes, the political rants. It's worn people down. Even diehard fans are quietly stepping back.
Did you notice that at the end of every episode, it says, the starring, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex?
Yes.
That's how she's billed.
So many people, they want all the privileges, they want all of the honors, they want all the plaudits, but they don't want to do anything.
And for Meghan, the reception is even colder. Critics say she's built a business empire around a title she once claimed to hate. The British public isn't stupid. They can see what's happening. This wasn't a quiet step back. It was a strategic step up. And now, the public feels used. That's why this petition has so much momentum. It's not just about the law, it's about people saying enough is enough. If you want out, fine, but don't keep the crown as a prop while you cash in. Here's where it turns from scandal to strategy.
And this follows in the past practice, Prince Andrew, when he stepped away from royal life after scandal, he still has the HRH, he does not use it.
It is a masterclass in self-promotion without, it strikes me, a scintilla of self-awareness. I'm stunned by it.
Parliament isn't just throwing stones, they're building a case, and it's built on real historical precedent. The Titles Deprivation Act of 1917 is now back on the table. This law was originally used to strip royals of their titles if they backed enemy nations during war. Today, MPs are arguing that Harry's actions, while not criminal, are dangerously disloyal. They call it symbolic betrayal, and that carries real weight in a monarchy built on loyalty and legacy. If Parliament invokes this act, Harry could legally lose the title of Duke of Sussex. He would no longer be addressed as His Royal Highness. He would be, officially and publicly, Mr. Harry Windsor. For a man who's used his title as a gateway to global influence, that change would be devastating. Because the truth is, every interview, every book deal, every brand collaboration starts with that title. Remove it, and the entire foundation begins to shake. And for Meghan, the consequences are just as big. She's built her post-royal life around the prestige of being a duchess. Take that away, and the entire Sussex brand gets rewritten. Parliament knows this. That's why they're not yelling. They're not debating on talk shows. They're moving through cold, quiet channels of power. Motions, discussions, legal analysis. Because this isn't about drama, it's about legacy. And the crown doesn't fight with noise. It fights with law. Everyone keeps asking, where's King Charles in all this? Why hasn't he stepped in? Why hasn't he stopped it? The answer is simple. He doesn't want to. According to palace insiders, Charles is letting Parliament do the work. It's not that he supports the idea emotionally, but politically it's clean. He's the monarch. He can't be seen waging war on his son. But he also can't allow the monarchy to be turned into a brand for California billionaires. So what does he do? Nothing, and that's the genius of it. Charles is letting the institution speak. Parliament takes the heat while he stays neutral. But behind closed doors, he knows what's happening. And here's the real kicker. Charles is facing a crisis of trust. The accusations of racism in the family, the backlash from Harry's memoir, the public anger, it's all simmering. By staying quiet, he avoids looking vindictive. He looks dignified. But make no mistake, this silence is calculated. He's not protecting Harry, he's protecting the monarchy. And if that means letting the title go quietly in the night, so be it. Charles doesn't want to look like the father who punished his son. He wants to look like the king who upheld tradition. And in the world of optics, that matters more than anything. If this title removal goes through, the fallout will be massive. And not just emotionally. The Sussex brand, as it exists today, is glued to royal status. It's the backbone of their media empire. Without Duke and Duchess, they lose that shine. The invites get colder, the press hits get smaller, the curiosity fades, because without the royal edge, what are they? Two celebrities in an overcrowded fame economy. And here's where it gets cutthroat. Hollywood runs on status. Without that title, their value drops. Not because they aren't famous, but because they aren't rare anymore. Dozens of celebrities do interviews, sell books, or start podcasts. But royals, that's the rare currency. And the minute Parliament takes that away, the brand value collapses. That's why this isn't just a personal blow, it's a business crisis. Meghan's entire rebrand as a duchess, doing things her way, falls apart. And Harry? He becomes just another famous name. No prince, no palace, no mystique. That's why insiders say the Sussexes are panicking behind the scenes. Because this isn't just about a title on a document. It's about losing the one thing that set them apart. The golden crown they tried to carry with them to America? It's slipping, and once it's gone, they can't get it back. As of now, the petition is snowballing. Support is rising in both the Lords and the Commons. Politicians from all parties are stepping up to say the same thing. If you abandon the royal family, you don't get to wear its jewels. And this time, it's not just public anger, it's legislative force. Parliament isn't debating anymore, they're acting. Drafts are being drawn, legal advisors are combing through the Titles Deprivation Act to make sure it fits. And there's talk of a full vote in the next session. If passed, the titles could be revoked within weeks. That's not symbolic, that's real. And once the crown makes a move like this, it doesn't undo it. The monarchy rarely reverses its decisions, it's about stability, and removing these titles, that would send a loud message to the world. The crown still protects itself. It may take time, it may move quietly, but when it moves with force. For Harry and Meghan, the message is clear. You can't use royal power to fund a Hollywood lifestyle while bashing the very system that gave it to you. That game is over. Parliament isn't playing anymore. And if this goes through, it won't end in scandal. It'll end in silence. A stripped title, a closed door, and a monarchy that just proved it still holds all the cards. The crown has spoken, and not with words, but with action. Parliament is pushing forward. The public is on their side. And the palace? It's watching it all unfold. Harry and Meghan made a choice to step away. But stepping away doesn't mean dragging the crown with you. And now they may finally lose the one thing they never thought they would, the titles that gave their brand global power. This story isn't about gossip anymore. It's about a kingdom drawing a line. And if that line holds, the The fairy tale ends right here. So what's next? Will the titles vanish? Will Meghan and Harry rebrand again? Or will this be the final chapter in a royal saga that's gone off the rails? Drop a comment if you're ready to see what happens next, because history is being written right now, and The Crown, it's making sure it writes the ending.